There are people who keep scrolling, and there are people who stop cold. You stopped. Not because the thumbnail was pretty, not because the algorithm threw it at you. Something in you recognized this before your mind had a chance to talk you out of it. That is not a small thing, and it is not an accident. That recognition, that pull, is the first message of this entire reading. Because what is coming for you in June 2026 is not something you can afford to scroll past. This is about a convergence, a window so specific, so loaded, that the cards didn't just show up for this reading, they insisted on it. Financial movement, a shift in power that has been building for a long time, endings that are long overdue, and one beginning that is going to change the entire landscape of your life. Stay with me all the way through. Every single card is part of one story, and that story is yours. Hey loves, welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Alice. So glad you found this today. Because honestly, you were supposed to. Before we go into the first card, I need you to do one thing right now. Drop a comment. Any comment. Just the word June if nothing else comes to you. Because the universe responds to movement, not intention sitting quietly inside your head. Intention that stays inside you is just a thought. Intention that moves into the world, even in a comment, even in a like, even in the decision to subscribe, that is energy in motion. And energy in motion is exactly what this entire reading is about. The breakthrough this reading is describing, it does not happen to passive observers. It happens to people who show up. Start showing up right now. Card 1, the Tower. This card did not come in gently. It never does. The Tower. Lightning splitting the sky. A crown knocked from the top. 2 figures falling. And underneath all of that, the fact that something has been struck. Something that cannot be unstruck. I want to say this clearly before anything else. The Tower in this reading is not a warning. It is a confirmation. Something in your life has either already been struck or it is about to be. And the question is not whether it will happen. The question is whether you are going to fight it or let it clear the ground for what comes next. Here is what the Tower is pointing to specifically for June 2026. There is a structure in your life that was built on a foundation that was never solid. Maybe you knew it. Maybe you didn't let yourself look closely enough to know it. But something, a situation, a dynamic, a version of how things were supposed to be, was held up by something that was never actually load-bearing. And June is when that gets revealed. Now. Here is the part that is uncomfortable to say out loud, but honestly, it is the most important part. The Tower is mercy. What comes down in a Tower moment was never meant to last. What gets struck was blocking what was meant for you. The lightning doesn't strike randomly, it strikes precisely. It finds the false foundations, the things that were costing you more than they were giving you. The walls you were living inside that looked like protection but were really just walls. The figure falling in this card isn't destroyed. They're free. The fall is frightening, but the ground is there, and what they land on is real in a way the Tower never was. For some of you, the Tower in June 2026 is a conversation that finally happens. Something said out loud that can't be unsaid, and honestly, shouldn't be. The relief that follows that conversation is going to feel like the first full breath you've taken in longer than you can easily remember. For others, it's a situation, financial, professional, relational, that stops pretending to be stable and finally shows you what it actually is. And yes, that's painful in the moment. And yes, it is also the thing that finally gives you permission to build something real. The Tower is not the end of your story. It's the demolition of the wrong story. And you can't build the right one until the rubble is clear. June 2026 is when the rubble clears. Card 2, The Wheel of Fortune. Right behind the tower, the wheel. This sequence is not accidental. The cards know exactly what they are doing here. When something structural falls, when the tower does its work, there is always a moment where it's not clear which direction things are going to land. The Wheel of Fortune in this position is answering that question. They are going to land in your favor. The wheel is the card of cosmic timing, of cycles completing, of the moment when every invisible thread of effort, every choice made with integrity, every time you chose not to give up, all of it becomes visible at once. Not because luck decided to show up, because the cycle was always going to turn here. You were always going to arrive at this exact point. And here's what I need you to hear, because honestly, this is the most important thing this card is saying. You have been building something. Maybe not consciously, maybe in the dark, without a blueprint, without anyone telling you it was working. But every honest decision, every time you chose clarity over comfort, every time you kept going through a season that gave you every reason to stop, that was building material. That was accumulating. For real. The Wheel of Fortune arriving right behind the tower means this. What falls in June is not the end of your resources. It is the rerouting of them. The energy that was going into maintaining what was already broken gets reclaimed. And the wheel turns it toward what is actually meant for you. Here is what changes in June. You stop relating to your circumstances as something happening to you. You start relating to them as something you are actively shaping. That shift, from passive to active, from receiver to co-creator, that is what the wheel marks. And that is what changes everything downstream. You don't wait for the wheel. You move, and the wheel responds. Card 3. The Four of Pentacles. Reversed. Reversed. This card reversed in the middle of this reading stopped me when it came out, because of where it sits. Between the wheel turning in your favor and what comes after it. The Four of Pentacles reversed is not subtle. It is pointing to something very specific about what has been keeping the wheel from turning faster. The Four of Pentacles upright shows a figure clutching a coin to their chest, arms wrapped around it, seated on it, a coin balanced on the head. The posture of someone holding on so tightly that both hands are completely occupied, which means both hands are unavailable for anything new. Reversed, that grip is loosening, or it honestly needs to. What the cards are pointing to here is a relationship with scarcity that has been running on autopilot. And I want to be careful here because this is not about blame. When you have been through real financial difficulty, when the floor has genuinely dropped out before, your nervous system learns to hold on, to hoard, to keep everything locked down because letting go of anything feels like the beginning of losing everything. That was a survival strategy. It was appropriate once. I'm not asking you to be ungrateful to that part of you. It kept you standing. But the Four of Pentacles reversed is saying it has outlived its usefulness. Here is the practical message. There is a decision coming in June, possibly already in front of you right now, where you will be asked to release something. Not recklessly, not without discernment, but with the trust that your hands need to be free to receive what the wheel is sending. Fear hoards. Wisdom allocates. The difference is enormous, and June is when you feel that difference in real terms. This card reversed is also pointing to walls, internal ones. The habit of not letting people in, the reflexive, "I'm fine, I've got it," that has become so second nature you don't even notice you're doing it anymore. June 2026 is when you practice open hands, in every sense of that phrase. Card 4. The Ace of Pentacles. And here is what open hands allow in. The Ace of Pentacles. A single golden coin, offered from an open cloud, extended like a gift. A garden path opening behind it, stretching forward into light. This is a new financial beginning. Not a patch, not temporary relief, a foundation. The Ace of Pentacles doesn't show up for halfway effort or halfway surrender. It shows up when someone has done the real work. the internal work that makes them actually capable of receiving something lasting. The Four of Pentacles reversed cleared the path. This card is what walks through it. Let me be specific about what this looks like in real life, because the Ace of Pentacles is not a vague card. And I want you to hear this clearly, not just as a nice idea. For some of you, this is a new income stream. Something that begins in June, quietly, maybe in a form that doesn't immediately announce its size, but that has roots, that compounds, that looks small from the outside and feels enormous from the inside because of what it represents. The beginning of building from sufficiency rather than from scarcity. For others, this is a financial decision made in June that turns out to be the right one. Not necessarily the safest one on paper. The one that aligned with where you are actually going, not where you have been. And for others, honestly, this card is about recognition. Not the public kind, the private, internal kind. The moment in June when you look at what you have, the skills, the resources, the specific things only you bring, and you finally stop minimizing it. The moment you say, without apologizing for it, this is valuable. I built this. This is real. That recognition is the seed the Ace of Pentacles is planting. Everything that grows from it starts right there. And look at what is already building. The Tower, clearing what was false. The Wheel, confirming the turn. The Four of Pentacles reversed, releasing the grip. The Ace of Pentacles, establishing new ground. This is not a collection of separate messages. This is one sentence, spoken in 4 parts. The sentence is, you are being rebuilt on something real. Drop your comment if you can feel that landing. Tell me which card has hit hardest so far. I read every single one, without exception. Card 5, the Six of Swords. Movement. And honestly, this is the card I want you to sit with for a moment, because it is doing something very specific in this reading. After everything the Tower knocked loose, after the Wheel confirmed the turn, after the grip loosened and new ground appeared, this card arrives and it says, you are moving away from something. Not falling away from it, not being pushed, moving. With intention, with your most important things in the boat beside you. The Six of Swords shows a figure being ferried across still water. The swords are in the boat. They are coming along, because the past doesn't just vanish. But the water ahead is calmer, and the figure is moving toward it. This is not escape. This is transition. There is a real difference, and I need you to feel that difference. What you are leaving in June 2026 is the version of your life that required you to brace constantly. You know what I mean. That low-level hum of hypervigilance, always calculating, always 3 steps ahead of the next possible thing to go wrong, always managing. That version of you was necessary. For real, she kept you alive through seasons that required that level of alertness. I am not asking you to dismiss her or be hard on yourself for having needed her. But here is what I need you to hear. She does not have to be on duty forever. The water ahead is calmer. June is when you begin crossing toward it. For many of you, this crossing will be quiet on the outside. No announcement, no dramatic shift visible to anyone else. It is internal. It is a day when you notice that the dread that usually greets you in the morning is lighter. Not gone, maybe, but lighter. And you will know, in the way you honestly know things before you can explain them, that something has shifted. That you are finally moving somewhere safer. The swords in the boat are the things you have learned, the experiences you carry. They come with you. They always will. But they are yours now. Not wounds running you. Yours. Card 6, the Page of Pentacles. This card landed here so precisely that I had to sit with it. Because the Page of Pentacles is the card of the beginning that contains everything. The student who has arrived. Something small being held with complete, unhurried attention, not thinking about the harvest, not rushing toward the outcome, just present with what is in front of them right now. And honestly, this is the energy June 2026 is asking from you. There is something, a project, a practice, a direction that has been sitting in the back of your mind in that half-formed, not quite ready state. You know the one. The thing you keep circling around without fully committing to. The idea that feels slightly too big or slightly too uncertain to start yet. The Page of Pentacles is saying, now. Not when it's perfect. Not once you can see the whole picture. Now, with what you have, at the scale that's actually available to you today. And I want you to hear why this matters so much. Because it's easy to dismiss beginnings when you're tired of starting over. But this is not starting over. This is different. The Tower cleared the false foundations. The wheel turned. The grip loosened. The Ace of Pentacles planted new ground. The Six of Swords moved you toward calmer water. And now the Page of Pentacles hands you the first real thing to build with. The people in your future are going to look back at June 2026 and point to it. That is when it started. That small, honest, imperfect beginning, that is the thing. So start it, whatever it is. Honestly, start it. You don't need the full blueprint. The Page of Pentacles doesn't have it either. They just hold what is in front of them with real attention. And that attention is what makes everything else possible. 6 cards, 1 complete story. The Tower said, "What was false is falling, and it is mercy, not punishment." The Wheel of Fortune said, "The cycle is turning toward you. Everything you have been quietly building is about to matter." The Four of Pentacles reversed said, "Open your hands. The grip has to loosen before anything new can land." The Ace of Pentacles said, "New financial ground is arriving, a real foundation, not a patch." The Six of Swords said, "You are crossing toward calmer water. This is a real transition, not just a mood shift." And the Page of Pentacles closed this reading exactly right. Begin the thing. June 2026 is not the destination. It is the launch pad. That is not a collection of themes. That is one story, and it belongs to you. Every single card in this reading is saying the same thing from a different angle. Your hands are being freed so you can finally build what was always meant for you. The Tower frees them from what was false. The Wheel frees them from the weight. The Four of Pentacles reversed frees them from the grip. The Ace of Pentacles shows what they can hold. The Six of Swords moves them toward the right water. And the Page of Pentacles puts the first real thing in them. That is the story. And you are not a passive observer in it. You are the one building it, with every honest choice, every moment you show up before it's convenient, every time you decide to move instead of wait. The universe has already met you halfway. Honestly, it has been meeting you halfway longer than you know. Now it is your turn. This reading landed for you for a reason. Don't let it just pass through. Drop a comment right now. Tell me which card landed hardest. Tell me what you are beginning in June. Tell me what Tower moment you are already living through, because naming it in this space makes it smaller and makes you larger. I read every single comment, without exception. Like this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Not for the algorithm. For you. Because the energy you put into claiming what this reading said is the same energy the wheel responds to. For real. You did not stumble onto this by accident. The Page of Pentacles is already in your hands. The only question is whether you start. I cannot wait to read your comment. Sending you so much love. See you in the next one.